Good morning. I have listened to I have listened to and watched all the comments in relation to what is going on in this country. Anthony Albanese, the Labor Party, the political parties have usurped the authority of the people according to our Constitution. They've overturned our Constitution according to their mouths. They have overturned the rule of law which we said no to in 1999. We denied them the right to do it. We denied them the right to decide that Aboriginals were the first inhabitants of this country, because they were not. The history and the evidence shows there were pygmy people before them. The true history shows when they came here. I don't deny them the right to keep the sacred sites or anything they owned prior to white men coming here or anyone else coming here. This is not about racism. This is not about hate. This is about our law. Now, Albanese and a bunch of people calling themselves representatives of us are outright lying to the people. The rule of law in this country is and will remain until we take it out the presumption of innocence. If you collect money from us, from our taxes, to exist, you are under contract to us. You are required by our law to swear the oath contained in the Constitution. Nothing more, nothing less. There is no preferential voting. We didn't give you permission to have it, you don't have it. The lying thief called Billy Hughes put it in. Conscription, you don't have it. A lying thief put it in. Signing all the treaties and everything, lying thieves put it in. There was no authority. The Constitution doesn't grant you the authority. There is no authority for a Prime Minister to be a dictator sitting where he is. So Albanese, you're a liar, you're a fraud, and you think you're going to get away with it. There is no such thing as retrospective law. In fact, our Constitution denies you that right. Is our Constitution alive and well? Yes. Why? Because we said, the people said, on the 1st of January 1900 and again in 1999, we said. Now, the Constitution interpretation says, on page 286, from Mr. O'Connor, a question was put. If it was asked of a politician, what is the highest authority in this country, he would say the state constitution, which, by the way, you've removed. All of them. Altered, changed, removed, and just got rid of them to suit yourself. That is treason. You've breached the oath you owe through our Constitution to us. Now, O'Connor says that leads near the truth, but it doesn't reach it, because the supreme, absolute, and uncontrollable authority remains with the people. When did we tell you you could reverse the rule of law? We did not. Even if we were asked in 1999, we still couldn't do it. We were powerless because it changed the provisions of our Constitution, and we did not have that right. But above all of that, you had no right to put it to us. You think that we're stupid. So until we vote, not all the people you've brought in here to overturn our law, until we vote, this stands. This stands. What else stands? The way elections are conducted. There's no other way. All the provisions of this our Constitution, stand until we remove them. They cannot be removed by people who represent us because we didn't give you permission to do it. Very, very simple. If you say you can, you're a liar, a fraud. And fraud vitiates everything. This is the interpretation. Why? Because we said so. We, the people, said so. We said, if you want to live in this country, you swear the oath of allegiance contained in our Constitution to exercise any authority. We said we have the right to question where that authority comes from, and we said you only have the right to answer where it comes from, and you can't do it. You talk about retrospective legislation. What about we go retrospective and every single action of the Labor Party and all the political parties since their inception is blatant treason and fraud? You have to stand trial for that. First, not when you think so. You want comments on your legislation? It's absolute treasonous garbage. Absolute lies and fraud. You cannot take away the right to fish until you ask us. You didn't. You cannot give any group of people in this country authority over anybody else because we are supreme, sovereign, and have the ultimate say. Our law says. I don't care who anyone says controls anything. I don't give a hang or an iota of authority to anybody. They don't have it. It doesn't matter. No one in this country is foreign controlled. They are in control of their own minds and their own ability to perceive the truth. Magna Carta stands, 1688 Bill of Rights stands, habeas corpus stands, the Act of Settlement stands, the King James Bible stands, Halsbury's Laws of England. Every single imperial law stands until we say so, because the supreme authority is ours, not yours, no political parties, and you, a House of Representatives, represents us. The Senate represents us. The Governor-General exercises the Crown's authority, the Crown of England's authority, not under any lie, fraud and everything else. It doesn't matter where they say their authority comes from. Nobody except the people can take away their constitution. The people of this country gathered together in one indissoluble federation of the Commonwealth of Australia. Every single lie, every single thing that is coming out of the mouths of politicians in an attempt to use the murder of people, which they knew was going to happen or had evidence that these people were being primed for it. And that includes the federal police. You can sit there, you can play all innocent. You're not innocent. You've got blood on your hands, a lot of you, because you knew it was going to happen, or you knew they were wandering around doing things which were detrimental to our law, and you did nothing. You are party to it. If you put any retrospective clauses in there, oh, look at that, you're speeding, you're going to get fined $1,500 and all these things, and you're not going to get a chance to go to court. You can't. You cannot do it. You don't have that authority. We haven't granted it. Who has the ultimate authority? Us. Supreme, absolute and uncontrollable authority remains with us. You go to page 676 of the interpretation. It says, the Constitution is above both houses of Parliament and they must comply with it. That's simple. If you have nothing between your ears, you would think, oh, look, I can change it. You can't touch it. Not even with a referendum, you can't turn that around. You can't put in place purported contracts or all your ideas of sophisticated trust and all that, it's all blatant treason. If you even attempt to go retrospective on one issue, you reignite every single thing you've ever done, and then you will stand trial for it first before you can go any further. What did you ask us in 1999? You tried to get a republic by lying, misleading and deceiving the people, and it backfired. The people said no. And you knew they said no, and you know they said no. You know they said yes to the Constitution because you refer to it when it's convenient to you. Does not give you the right to walk all over people. We are sovereign and supreme. Our Constitution says so, including in page 676. It says, the Parliament is not supreme, and the very essence of federation is that should be so. The Parliament, like everybody else, is under the law and must abide by it. You don't have a choice, and you haven't been. So nobody can benefit from a crime. You are sitting in a crime. Every single thing you do, everything you say, which is against the Constitution, that includes a democracy. The Constitution didn't evolve. We didn't authorise it. We are not a self-governing republic, which is what you're trying to put over. You're trying to say you have this authority. You have none. Unless you can show in our Constitution where that authority is derived from. You are subject to the law. If you represent us, you represent our law and pass laws for us, not over us. So you're lying. You cannot enter into our Parliament lawfully without swearing the oath of allegiance contained in our Constitution. You have no power to change that. You had no authority to go against Chalice real property, which says we purchase the land alienated from the Crown. You say you're the Crown. It's alienated from you. You have no choice whatsoever. No choice whatsoever other than to abide by the law. And now you have no choice whatsoever to take our titles. I don't care where you get the money. Take them off the super fund that you gave them to for peanuts so that you could pay for the misdemeanors and crimes committed by the Roman Church. Nobody gave you permission to do it. Nobody gave you authority of any kind to change the status of our land, which was in fee simple. Nobody gave you permission to take away our rights over our land. Nobody gave you permission to take over any rights. You see, under the 1688 Bill of Rights, we have the authority to carry a weapon for our defence. Defence of our wife, defence of our children, defence of our property. And use it to defend it. Now, if you want to come against us, our law says we can use whatever force is reasonably necessary to fend off anything you do. You cannot pass a law taking people's firearms off us. You do not have an authority to do it. We didn't give it to us. To you. And we don't. We didn't give you authority to take machetes off us. Knives, swords. These are criminals that have got them. The ones who stole them, the ones who are using them unlawfully, we've got laws to deal with them and you're not using it because you're too gutless. Spineless weasels. You should all go down, strip off your clothes and paint your backs yellow. You are gutless, spineless morons. You think you can, this is hate speech, somebody might get scared. Being scared is a human reaction to threats, and you're threatening us. Threatening us. You were saying if we don't do that, this, we'll do that. You threaten people when you pull them over. Could you blow in this and prove that you're innocent because we think you're guilty of drink driving? Is that the case? Yes, it is. The supreme authority in this country belongs with the people. And I can't explain it any more than that. The supreme, absolute and uncontrollable authority remains with us as long as the Constitution is there. You don't get to decide it, we do. And we've decided. We decided at Federation. We decided every time we stepped up and said no at referendums. It didn't carry. It wasn't carried. That is a fraud and a lie and a misquote. When you ask a question, the only answer to the question is yes, you can do it, or no, you can't. We said no, and that's exactly what it means. You can lie, cheat and steal and pull all your little cons, but it's no. I know a lot of politicians. At first glance, they're nice people. They come across nice, they say good things, but the issue is our law. You were told in 1936, you can govern this country or get out. Do what you're told. You were told that the Constitution is indissoluble. The Federation is indissoluble. Why? Because we said so. You do not have any authority to change that. We never gave it to you, so it doesn't exist. Understand or comprehend what we say. We said no to a republic. You didn't even have authority to put the republic to the people because you couldn't put anything before the parliament. It wasn't lawful. I'm going to refer to this person because she says that the government didn't need a referendum for the Australia Act. Well, number one, they're not the government. If you say they are, you're a liar. You're a liar if you say they are. So everything you've got on TikTok or whatever it is, all your constitutional clarion, take it all down and comply with our Constitution, because if these clowns that are in our Parliament pass retrospective legislation, everything you've said is hate. The hate of the Australian people by you, Ann Toomey. You know what you're doing is incorrect. It's blatant treason. You are not quoting from the Constitution. You are manipulating our Constitution. You didn't ask us for the Australia Act. You didn't get it. It does change the Constitution. The whole perception of the Constitution, it changes. Or alleges to change, because it cannot ever do it. You cannot conscript us to do anything without our permission. If we are sovereign and supreme, we are. You do what we say. We only say through our Constitution. We have the right to say whatever we like, as long as what we say and do does not affect others, does not hurt others. If you had a lawful law, you could stop that. You already have. The Anti-Discrimination Act. You bring people in here unlawfully. You say that you have the right to change what we say. No, you don't. You have no rights unless we give it to you, and we haven't. You have no right to pull someone over and summarily deal with them right there on the side of the road, because the police are not even police anymore. They're public officers, creatures of statute. Actually, an army arising from a breach of the Constitution, 114. No state can raise an army, and you have. There are people who come on here that are scared because of what they've posted, because you're going to go retrospective. Well, if you go retrospective, you've got to lock up every politician that decided you could have multiple immigrants into this country in direct contravention of our Constitution. Is it in contravention? Yes, because you put these immigrants above the people who are here. You've put people out on the street from your policies. Policy is not law. It's treason. It's fraud. You cannot issue an infringement to anybody. You cannot write out an infringement and give it to them. They must go through due process of law. We have the right to say, yeah, we're guilty, you'll pay it, when a court decides. When a conflict arises between the law and the people, a court can decide. A court is a gathering under the sovereign. High Court's ruled it, Constitution states it. No crown, no authority granted. All authority is granted under the crown. Not your version. The crown in British law is God. The monarch is God's representative. The parliament sits under that authority or doesn't sit. You are not told, oh, you've got to be religious. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, we have an oath and we have an affirmation. You take one or the other, or you do not exercise authority in this country. The politicians don't swear any of it. Doesn't matter how many times you say Section 42 says every senator and every member of the House of Representatives before taking your seat must swear the oath contained in our Constitution. You still ignore it. Blatantly commit treason. So every single one of you, if you pass this stupid, ridiculous piece of garbage you call an act, someone just said, the Governor-General came out and said she has no control over the Parliament. She's a liar. Get out of our Parliament. You are collecting 700,000 plus a year to sit there and tell lies. You exercise the authority of the King, the lawful reigning monarch, whether we like him or not, whether you think he's there lawfully or not. Someone, I know everything, so I'm going to say, the royal family says. You have no evidence to back up what you say, so shut your mouth. You are a troll out of your own mouth because you are backing up the rhetoric being passed around because you want to appear to be smart. I don't know everything about the Constitution. I'm finding out little quirky pieces every now and again, but I make sure I read as much as I can so that I can relate it to you. That's all I'm doing. Telling you what the law says. The law says, our supreme law says, every single politician, every person in this country exercising authority at this time is doing it in direct conflict with our Constitution, because you do not have the authority to talk about and do what you're doing. If we have paid for our land or are paying for our land, it belongs to us. Belongs. Otherwise you go out there, you maggots that call yourself police, whether federal or state, you go out there and arrest every real estate agent for fraud. If you think your laws are correct, you're going to have to arrest them all. Every single one. The land is not for sale if we don't buy it. It's for lease or for rent or whatever other lie you want to talk about. Our Constitution does not give you anybody in this country authority over your land, except by the lawful judgment of our peers. You cannot take away our rights to walk freely, to talk freely, to do whatever we want, without hurting others, of course, without breaching our Constitution. We don't need a Bill of Rights. We got the 1688 Bill of Rights, which is law in this country, like every other imperial law, and must be abided by. HCA 44 of 2010 states that, the full bench of the High Court. So either you're going to believe what the High Court says or you're going to ignore it because of the 1979 Act. That doesn't give you the right to ignore their decisions. You either uphold them or kick them out so they're not collecting money for nothing. That's your choice. You introduced an act which controls them and breached our Constitution by doing it. You cannot control our court, because to do so, you are not representing us. You're representing you. Your policies, which are lies. I said before and I say again, you can look at what Pauline Hanson says. You can look at what a lot of other people say. Correct. What they say. Are they there lawfully? No. Are they intending to be there lawfully? No. If they do not apply and I'll show you so you're aware what I'm talking about, this act, to elect each and every one of you, if you do not do that, and the method of finding that is found in our Constitution, and you've ignored it, you're ignoring everything. You see, you can't just say, oh, that happened before, we didn't do it. You did. You did do it. Are we guilty of criminal actions of other people? No, we're not. But you are guilty of the results if it breaches our Constitution. It is treason. You cannot continue treason. If you look at fraud, it's a maxim of law. If you commit fraud, which is what you've done since Federation, you've lied, misled, and taken over this country by stealth, and you've done it. And it's there in front of everybody. So you are guilty of every conceivable thing that has come out of that. So if you decide you pass a law and you can go back and do this, that and the other thing and change everything, and you think you can get away with it, no you can't. It's fraud, and fraud vitiates everything, wipes it out when you perceive it, or at inception. And someone asked about, is New Zealand part of Australia? Read Clause 6. Apparently it is. Did you have the right to take it out with any inbound treaty or anything else? No. It was never signed by the reigning monarch. You don't have it. If you were established at Federation as part of Australia, according to Clause 6 you are part of Australia. Like it or lump it. You don't like it, have a vote, get rid of it. That's what you want. But you must have permission from the reigning monarch, and you don't have it. He is there to uphold our Constitution. The Governor-General, if she was lawful, which she's not, would have to accept the fact that she exercises the authority of the Crown of England, not the Parliament. It is not a lawful government. It is a Parliament there to debate laws and pass them according to our Constitution. You take that out and you're nothing but traitors. I didn't say it, the Constitution does. Everything I'm relating to you right now is the Constitution. This is a very important part in our history, the history of this country. Are we going to stand together as one people? Not saying, oh, the First Nation because you weren't. The first people because you weren't. White people have authority over black people. We don't. Nobody has authority over anybody else unless we give it, and we haven't given it. 1967, 90.2% of the population voted to give you everything, and the politicians took it all off you and gave you nothing, and you can't see it. If the purported courts grant you authority over land, they do so, and you've got to put it in a corporation. Second you put it in there, you don't own it. All they have to do is withdraw finance, and it automatically goes to the government. Read the Corporations Act. It's a fraud, and you can't see it. You don't want to. I don't want it to be so. I never have. I don't like the actions of a lot of people, but that doesn't mean I hate everybody. I have the right to come out. In fact, I have a duty, because I was appointed as a Commonwealth public official lawfully through the Court of Faculties England. That was lawful. You can't take it out. I proved it to the court. You can't stop that. It is not up to you. It's not up to you. What I'm bound to do is reveal indictable offences. Everything I've said this morning is indictable offences. You've committed them. So before you can do anything, you are sitting in treason. You're attainted of treason, the whole lot of you. Every single politician that has ever existed is attainted of treason. Every single person who has not sworn the oath, they don't care. I don't give a hang if they don't care. They're going to care if you get off your butt and stand up and say they're not going to do it. You miss the old Australia, we'll put it back. Tell them what you feel. Are you doing it? I don't know. Get up and do it. Everybody who criticises me on here will be wiped off. I don't care. You prove that I'm wrong or shut your mouth. I don't want to hear it. I'm doing my best. I lay awake at night. I go through every single law we've got in my mind because I can. And I work out the truth. You bring up people, these people, get off my post if you're going to put your garbage. I don't want to know it. I want the truth on here. I want these people who say they represent us to put the truth on here. Nothing more. If we're going to have the system we've got, where we can have open free speech, only the truth can come on here. The second you criticise anybody who says something without evidence, you're lying. It isn't a case of, oh, I made a mistake. No, you didn't. Because if you come on here without evidence to back it up, then you're lying. If you get in a police uniform and you drive down the road and you haven't sworn the oath of allegiance and you're not abiding by the Constitution, you're a liar and a fraud. If you go into our Parliament and you haven't sworn the oath of allegiance and you are not there representing your state, because that's where you come from, state by state. The Act says so. If you're not doing that, you're a liar and a fraud. I don't care about common law sheriffs. Whether I agree with them or not is another thing. I'm not going to deal with any of that. Get off the post if you're not going to discuss what I'm talking about. I don't care what happened to particular individuals. I care what's happening to this country. They're trying to take it off you, and you cannot see it. You cannot see it because you don't want to see it. I'm telling you what our law says. Why don't you pick up our law and go to your politician and say, are you going to represent this? No, get out. We're not going to pay you anymore. Why? Because the supreme, absolute and uncontrollable authority is ours. We tell them what to do. We tell them. We do not ask them, oh, can you please give us guidance in this? No. If you don't understand our Constitution, how can you guide somebody? The problem we got lawyers who are signed up to the corporate crown of the City of London through the Bar Association, which they swear their allegiance to. They're not lawyers. They're not lawful in this country. They can call themselves whatever they like. The problem is, when you look at what Jacinda Allen did in Victoria, took money out of the Country Fire Association, so their vehicles are old, they're ill-equipped, they haven't been cleaning the bush which they should, all for what reason? To make herself look good. Why aren't you locking these liars up? Because you don't have the guts to do it. Why aren't you going to the politicians' houses and standing out the front and denouncing them for what they are? Liars who do not represent the people. They do not represent them. If they're not there putting your will to the Parliament, they are not representing you. That's what it means. We, through our Constitution, are sovereign and supreme. When are you going to understand it? You ask questions on here which don't make sense. You ask on here when I'm in the middle of doing something, you expect me to stop and answer your question. I'm not going to. I told you I'm not going to. I'm telling you our Constitution is supreme. The supreme law of this country. The High Court's ruled it. Every politician knows it's there and chooses to think they can ignore it. If you're a magistrate and you sit in the magistrate's court, because that's all it is, it's unlawful, then you should be removed and locked up. How are you going to go with retrospective law when they haven't abided by the Constitution? Are you going to lock them up, Albanese? No, you're not. Are you going to lock yourself up? You're already locked up in your own delusion. And you're not going to crawl out of it, nor is anybody who sits there and thinks they're above our law. You're deluded clowns and idiots. And that's all you're ever going to be. Traitors to this country. If what I'm saying is hate speech, no, it's not. I'm telling you what you're doing wrong. If you do nothing about it, you are conceding to the fact that you are what I say you are. You don't want to do anything about that? Not my problem. But it will be yours. You will stand trial for what you're doing. You think you're above the law, you think you can lie. Oh, you had this meeting with Trump, that meeting with somebody else. I don't care who you had meetings with. Trump does not rule this country. The people do. Through their constitution. If Trump chooses to come here and help the people of this country out, good. If he does it the wrong way, bad. Get out. We are Australia. We are the Commonwealth. We have the supreme, absolute and uncontrollable authority. When you sit back, think about what I'm saying, stop trying to find reasons why you can, well, if you do this, if you do that, or we've got sheriffs, we've got some other nonsense. You can have all of them according to law. If it's not in the law, you can't have it. But you are bound by every imperial act in this country. From England, those imperial laws, you're bound by them. We're not a democratic government, parliament system or anything else. It's all a lie. It's all a smokescreen to try and get you to do what they want, to follow what they want, their rhetoric. They are not a government. They're a parliament there to serve us, to pass laws for us, not over us. When are you going to get that concept? When are you going to get the concept you are totally innocent until proven guilty? Innocent. You need to sit back and comprehend what I've just said. You can do every offence, but until somebody can prove it, you're innocent. Why? Because we said as a majority we wanted our Constitution, and that grants us that. Can a parliament who represents us change that? No, they can't. Can they pass a law that overturns that? No, they can't. I've explained before, when you get pulled over, we want you to blow in this. Oh, this is a random breath test. Well, I don't want to. Then you're under arrest. You didn't ask them. You told them. What the result is, you're going to jail. What are you saying? You're saying until you prove you haven't been drinking, you're guilty of drink driving. Am I correct? Yes, because if you don't blow in their little bag and prove that you haven't been drink driving, then they're going to arrest you. Same goes with drugs. Do I think you should drive with a level of alcohol in your body? No. Should they drive with drugs in their system? No. The charge is driving under the influence, and they hit you with the heaviest one. Get them out of the car, make them walk a line. If they smell of liquor, you can't smell of alcohol, it's odourless. So that is a dumb statement. If they smell of alcohol, when you pull them over for a lawful reason, oh, we're going to have a booze bust. No, that's not a lawful reason. That's enslaving the population to what you want, so you can gain revenue by prosecuting people for drink driving. I've listened to your rhetoric. I've worked under your rhetoric as it's lies. Oh, in all these accidents, alcohol was involved. Yes, it was. The person sitting in the left-hand back corner who wasn't driving had been drinking. So what? There's alcohol involved in our accident because it was in his body. Big deal. What an oxymoron. What a bunch of morons saying it. If the person sitting behind the wheel does not smell of alcohol, does not have dilated pupils, which you could see easy if they're on drugs, why are you even talking to them? Oh, we wanted a driver's license test. No, you can get that off your computer, off their registration number. Is the owner of this car lawfully driving? Yes. Do you recognise the person as not the driver? No, because you don't know them. Then what reason do you have to pull them over? None. None. You have put that person into peonage, into slavery. Read the law. We are all totally innocent until you prove us guilty. When we go to court and the magistrate reads out and says, you've been charged with this. No, you haven't. There's an allegation that you've done something. If you've been charged, there would have been a warrant issued for your arrest. After they presented, whoever has come round to execute the warrant, first gives you a copy, secondly has an affidavit which states what you've done and is proven to the person issuing the warrant, would have to be a JP or a magistrate or both, and must have a statement of material facts. And they're not doing it. They're not abiding by the law. And half, then, oh, we crossed the JP out because somebody might go and do something to a JP. What sort of sickos are you? Why would we go and bash a JP because they're upholding our law? Because they're not. You've put them under the control of your purported government, which is only a parliament with no authority. That's all it is. It is time to get rid of the nonsense. It's a time for you people to reflect on what I'm saying and go to your politicians and tell them, get out of our parliament. You have no lawful right to be there, nor do you. Susan Ley, you don't know, was put there by the Communists and the Liberal Party. I do because I was told by somebody high up in there. She is a communist. Why would she do anything against the current politicians and their political parties? No, she's all part of it. It's a system to take over this country. You do not have to pay income tax. You don't. They need our permission to collect it. They didn't have it. They assumed it for the war to get the money. I can see why, but it still does not make it lawful. When you go to jail or they take things to pay income tax to a foreign company, and that's all it is, wake up. You're being ripped off and screwed over and everything you own taken off you, so a few fat cats can sit there and say, oh, look at I've got my 5 seconds of fame from lies, treason and fraud against the people of this country. There is no other way you can look at what I'm saying. Time to wake up. You want an objection to that law? It's not a law, can never be a law until you have a lawful parliament to start off with. So whatever you pass through there, I agree, you should have had a royal commission, but there's no royal because you took the crown out, you moron. How do you have a royal commission without the royals? Without an oath to the royals, who are the reigning monarch, and you don't swear it. So how do you get all that? How does that equate to lawful? It's not. You sitting there unlawfully cannot speak an authority into being when it doesn't exist in law. You can't sit in our parliament without swearing the lawful oath. You cannot be a police officer without swearing our oath. When you've got a crown on your shoulder, including the Commissioner of the Federal Police, you're committing fraud on the people. Fraud. You are posing as an officer of the Crown and you're not. The Crown does not give you authority when you only got a little badge. The oath that comes out of your mouth or affirmation does. Take it or shut your mouth. You have no authority. You want resistance from the people? You're going the right way to get it. I don't condone it. I don't think it should happen. I think we should be able to settle this like human beings. We're never going to do it while you idiots threaten us with violence every time we say no to you when your laws are unlawful. And that's a problem we have. Absolute problem where we say no and you say, oh, well, you're having it anyway. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. Or we're going to lock you up. You can't. I'm not going to get into debates on what you think. Put the law in here. (1902) Election Act for what? For your information, Darren, doesn't exist. John, doesn't exist. There was no lawful federal parliament ever, and there isn't, and there can't be until all the states have, every single state puts its constitution in place so that they can have a lawful state parliament sitting under the letters patent backed state constitution. Comprehend what I'm saying? Until that is in place, there are no lawful states. So there are no lawful representatives of a state if it doesn't exist in law, and it doesn't. Now the representatives of each state form the federal parliament. We don't have any because we don't have each state. It does not exist. Time to wake up. Time to comprehend the truth. All I'm giving you is the truth. Are you going to abide by it? Well, let's see. Let's see what happens in the next few days. Whether you're just going to bend over and get your backs painted yellow, or you're going to bend over the politicians and paint theirs yellow. Let's see if those morons are going to stand up and represent us, we the people. We are the authority, the supreme, absolute and uncontrollable authority. Are you going to stand up? It's up to you. Up to you. What are you going to do? Stop pushing what you think. Start pushing the Constitution, which the majority of people put in place. It is our control over the Parliament. That's how it is. Like it or lump it, but that's the law. You want to fact check what I said? Pick up the Commonwealth Constitution Act 1900 UK, the interpretation by the people who framed it, and the Imperial Acts. Don't come to me, don't restrict my Facebook page like you've been doing, the number of people who can see it. That's why we've gone right across the board, because you've been doing it. All you're doing is, it's control. You want control. All about control, where somebody stands over another. No. You cannot stand over somebody and be part of that person's life. In marriage, in politics, in general public life, you cannot do it without submission of both people towards the other for the benefit of all. And until you do that, that's what true socialism is. And you never adhere to it because always you want control. We're not having it. So you have a nice day and think over what I'm saying, because what I'm saying is straight out of our law. Time for you to wake up. I don't want anything from this. I want to be left alone so I can go and live a normal life. But I have a duty to my children. I have a duty to the people I swore an oath to protect and still hold to that oath. That's what I'm doing. So when you ask, what are you doing? Have a look. We have answers back from England. They are looking into what we've seen. They are looking at our videos. They are going to deal with it. And that's all I'm telling you. Because if you want to know anything else, get off your fat, lazy backsides and do something. Or take your shirt off and paint your back yellow because you're too gutless to do anything. Thank you for your time.